mercy me, things ain't what they used to be. We're going to find out about that today. This is In, It's the Only Way Out, and I'm your host, Tamara Henry. We have a wonderful guest today, Brian Gerber, the producer of The 11th Hour. Thanks for coming on the show today.
Thanks so much for having me. It's a pleasure being here.
Yes, I'm so glad you're here, and I wanted to share beautiful synchronicity with you. This is the 11th episode of In. How appropriate that we're talking about the film The 11th Hour.
Wow, that's great.
Did you have any synchronicities yourself when you were working on the film?
We did. You know, we've been making this film for 3 years, but when we first started, when we first were cooking around the idea, you know, sitting around the office thinking about doing the movie, and we'd been working with Leonardo Di Caprio and his foundation on some short films, and we were sitting around the table talking, and all of a sudden we all sort of said, you know what, we should make a feature. We should make a feature film about all these ideas that we're talking about, and it was just sort of a weird timing thing that all the sort of stars aligned at the same time for us to get going.
Yeah, it's kind of like all the planets line up. It's like when your heart is in the right place, forces come, you know, out of nowhere and help you do a really grand event.
Right, right.
And so for all of you at home who don't know what we're talking about, let's go ahead and take a look at the trailer so you can be on the same page with us.
And the climate are making news in more than one region.
Severe flooding has killed at least 72 people.
Under siege in the grip of unmitigated catastrophe.
The evidence is now clear. Industrial civilization has caused irreparable damage. Our political and corporate leaders have consistently ignored the overwhelming scientific evidence.
Not only is it the 11th hour, it's 11:59.
What we saw with Katrina is just prologue. Worse is yet to come.
The UN estimates that by the middle of the century, there may be 150 million environmental refugees.
There are too many of us using too many resources too fast.
The problem is that every living system is in decline, and the rate of decline is accelerating.
The tragedy is the potential extinction of humankind.
We face a convergence of crises, all of which are a concern for life. Will our pivotal generation create a sustainable world in time?
People need to realize there are things they can do in their everyday lives. Everybody making a change adds up to something meaningful.
Our project today is the welfare of all of life as a practical objective.
With existing technologies, we could literally reduce the human footprint on planet Earth by 90%.
We have to imagine what it would be like to redesign design itself.
These are not technical issues nearly as much as they are leadership issues. There was a time when Republicans and Democrats joined to pass major environmental laws. 500 years out, people look back at this time that this was our finest hour.
What a great time to be born. What a great time to be alive, because this generation gets to completely change this world.
Music gives me chills, and this is a colossal project. This is not just a film. This is like a movement.
Yeah, exactly. That's how we view it. The film is a piece of the movement, and we've started a website called 11th Hour Action. When people see the movie, or even when they just see the trailer, they can go and get involved and take part in this movement.
Right, because people, after they see the film, they want to know what they can do.
Right.
And, okay, I've seen this movie twice, and I have to say this, like I was coming out to interview you today, my roommate was taking off, he said, what are you doing today? And I said, well, I'm going to interview, you know, Brian Gerber, The 11th Hour, and he hadn't heard about it. And I was like, you haven't heard about it? I was like, you know, Leonardo Di Caprio, and it's like, how can people have not heard about this film? I mean, they're hearing about it now.
Right, right.
But I guess that's what we're doing, is we're getting the word out.
Yeah, I mean, it's a movement, and this is it's a grassroots movement. It's a grassroots documentary, and it is up to us to, you know, when you've seen the movie, do what you did. Talk to your roommate, talk to your friends, email your friends and family, and tell them to check it out. That's the way that the word gets spread on a project like this.
And you'll never be the same afterwards, after you see this film. And but one of the things I was frustrated about is, okay, I've seen the movie twice, and to be honest with you, I've had trouble, like, what have I done differently since I've seen the film?
Right. Something that you can do right now is, I see you're drinking water out of a plastic water bottle, and
is that bad? Is that
that's
wrong?
Bad. Plastic water bottles are not good. I don't know the exact number, but millions end up in a landfill every day, even though they are recyclable. But they're also made from petroleum products, which is bad news, and the water's not good for you. Well, that's
I gotta drink water now.
Yeah. Well, I brought you this.
Oh, look at that.
And this is a perfectly sustainable.
Okay, so this is sustainable, reusable.
Reusable, and
oh,
you
it's nice
take
and
it.
cold. You got me some cold water.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
So you can take that everywhere you go, and it's a lot healthier because the chemicals from the plastics, chemicals from the plastics get into the water when we use plastic water bottles. And again, most of the bottles end up in landfills. And this, it's like taking your own grocery bag to the store. Now, when you bring, when you bring your own bag to the store, there's bunches of them out there, made of different materials. And when you're going through the checkout and you have your own bag, other people will notice. The checkout person notices, other people in line, and it's little things like that that we can all do in our everyday lives. That when they add up, they can really make a difference.
And the thing I like about that is it actually takes effort.
Yeah.
But anything worth doing takes a little effort. That's right.
Yep.
Okay, now so the 11th Hour, this is your shining debut. And who was Brian Gerber before the 11th Hour? Where did we see you before?
I've been a producer for many years. I used to work at Paramount Pictures for 5 years. And then I came and started working with Tree Media Group. And we're a company that makes media. The idea of the company is to make media that supports and sustains civil society. So we make message-oriented media, and I've worked on a lot of interesting projects, a lot of music projects. I did a film last year with Elvis Costello and Alan Toussaint, documenting the first record made in New Orleans after Katrina. So lots of different projects like that.
So you've been doing films with heart. You are on a path with heart.
Correct.
And when you're on that path, it just gets bigger and it expands.
Right.
The expanding heart. And so I know that I met you at an event. It was called Trees for the Future.
Yeah.
It was a party put on by a family affair. I see up there it says Global Green USA and NRDC. Those are the couple of the organizations that are benefiting this film. Is that right?
Yeah. There are a couple of the organizations that proceeds from the movie are going to, and organizations that we've worked very closely with for many years, and they've played an advisory role in the making of the film, and continue. This is a long-standing relationship for us.
See, I think that's the exciting thing. Is not only you were talking about Tree Media Group and what you guys do. It's so new and different. And the parties that we're having nowadays, we're not just having pool parties, we're having green parties.
Right.
And they're serving hors d'oeuvres with biodegradable plates and cups, and everything's green nowadays. It's like we're really getting into it.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, Debbie Mae West and her organization that are throwing these parties for a purpose, which are great. They're really fun. Everybody, as you well know, was having a great time at that party. It was a lot of fun, but there was also sort of a message there as well. And I think we as citizens, I think in this country, there's a desire out there to connect to something that's meaningful, and I think that's why you're seeing a lot of these kinds of parties for a purpose, or Burning Man this year has a green theme. I think you're seeing a lot of that in the media as well, in that I think people recognize that we have problems and they want to address them, and we can do them in a fun way.
Right, exactly. With movies and films.
That's right.
And television shows like this.
Yep.
The second time I saw the movie, and we have a picture of you at a Q&A.
Yep.
And tell us about that.
Well, we've been doing a bunch of these Q&As after the movie. Because I think, when people see the film, it brings up a lot of questions. What can I do? And there's a lot of issues that are brought up in the movie, and people like discussing them. What we're encouraging people to do is to discuss it, and they can, after they go see the movie, they can all go out and get a coffee and sit around and talk about it, or go online on 11th Hour Action and start blogging about it and talking about it. And we're trying to facilitate that discussion by hosting these Q&As after some of the screenings.
Yeah.
And that particular one was great. It was with Tree People, which is a organization here in Los Angeles that helps plant trees and looks at trees planting in Los Angeles as a way to heal our community.
Tree People. Now we got to get it straight. There's Tree People, there's Trees for the Future, and there's Tree Media Group.
Well, we need a lot of trees in this world.